You're the reason I get to talk to so many smart people just about every night of the week. And tonight, the subject is education. But leave that remote alone. Don't touch it, because we're not going to bore you with math, science, or even grammar. No, we're going to talk about some common sense and smart thinking that's being applied to the education system, our kids, and our schools. I promise we're going to keep you engaged. It's something you need to know is going on in the world of education. And joining us from the great state of Texas is that state's Commissioner of Education, Mike Morath. He's had that job since 2017. Ever since, he's provoked excitement. That's right, excitement about education. And of course, you can imagine, he's ruffled a few feathers too. But he's working to enrich school curriculums and graduate smarter students, and it's working. So first of all, let me just say, Commissioner, welcome to Huckabee today. We're delighted to have you here to talk about the innovations going on in Texas, and thank you for joining us.
Governor, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me on the program.
Let's jump into the fact that you have done some significant changes in K through 12 curriculum, making the textbooks are really now targeted for classrooms in your state, and you're calling it the Bluebonnet program. So let's jump in. Tell us what brought the program about and what's the essence of it.
A lot of this, I think, goes back to what many parents, myself included, because I'm not just Commissioner of Education, I'm a dad of 4, but many parents saw of classroom instruction during the COVID-19 pandemic. We are blessed in Texas and in so many other parts of the country to have an army of angels working in schools all over the country. People who sign up to be teachers who want to help mold eager young minds. But what we discovered during the pandemic is we often did not give them rigorous instructional materials that would look, say, like the lessons that you and I had when we were kids. Just periodically stuff that was not rigorous, but also sometimes seemingly bizarre in the subject matter. And the members of the legislature here in Texas heard from constituents, moms and dads all over the state, and wanted to do something about that. And so the state legislature passed a law asking us, the Texas Education Agency, to build rigorous instructional materials. Think textbooks, lesson plans, sometimes even the posters on the wall, these kinds of things that could be made available as an option for classroom teachers so that they could focus really on the fundamentals, what our kids need most in elementary reading, elementary mathematics, and in fact, math all the way going up to algebra, to ensure that all of our kids can read, write, and do math and do it very well.
You know, the economy is uncertain. You never know whether your money's worth as much today as it was yesterday. It's one of the reasons I buy gold from American Hartford Gold. American Hartford Gold has earned a 5-star rating and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Be sure to tell them Mike Huckabee sent you. They'll give you up to $15,000 of free silver on your first qualifying order. Call 844-417-1010 or text Mike to 998899. You'll be glad you did business with American Hartford Gold. What a novel idea that the students who go to school would actually learn the things that really are foundational to living life. Commissioner, I know that Texas is one of the largest school book purchasers in the country, maybe the largest, because you buy it for the state. What Texas does pretty much influences all 50 states. So the fact that you're doing it in Texas, I want to make sure our audience understands this is not just about Texas. This really will have a dramatic impact across the country because other states will end up following the textbook example of Texas. And so I want you to speak to the fact that you had to sort of go into the textbook situation, the curriculum, and say, there's a lot of stuff here that doesn't make sense. Why do the students get more information about maybe Taylor Swift than they're getting about George Washington? Maybe not that specific, but there's sometimes curriculum that is just as ridiculous as that. Talk about the resistance that you got into. Were there people who said, oh, no, we want these kids to be not so familiar with American history. We want them to learn pop culture. Was that a problem?
It sometimes is. This investment that the state has built. So Bluebonnet Learning, as you mentioned before, this is the name of the Texas textbooks that have been developed, really do focus on the fundamentals. So think in kindergarten, this is where students need to develop their basic understanding of the alphabet, the sounds that letters make, the penmanship, so the handwriting that students developed to shape the letters, both in print and in cursive, their beginnings of the understanding of the rules of spelling and grammar of the English language. This is what is absolutely critical in kindergarten. And in some cases where people were not necessarily using well-developed instructional materials, often teachers would be forced to find lessons off the internet. And I don't know if you've been on the internet lately, but there's a lot of weird stuff on the internet. So
Yeah.
sometimes that did not, yeah, that did not result in the best learning experience for kids that really give the foundation in kindergarten. And as that advances in the first grade and second grade, you want that to build layer, one level of education on the next. And so by the end of second grade, as students follow the Bluebonnet learning sequence, they can write well in print and in cursive. They can write a sentence that's grammatically correct, understanding the rules of punctuation and spelling and capitalization, and they can begin to write. By the time they're in third grade, they can begin to write paragraphs. But it's not just about teaching the basic rules of grammar. Understanding how to read and understanding how to write are also a function of all the words you know. What are you learning about? So in kindergarten, we focus on the fundamentals. This starts with things like nursery rhymes, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but it's stories of the origin of America. So colonial and Native Americans and the first Thanksgiving. This is one of the key lessons, reading lessons, that is reinforced in kindergarten. Towards the end of kindergarten, there's a unit, it's called America, Our Great Country. And kids learn hymns like America the Beautiful, but they will also learn about some of the major presidents in our history. So this is Washington and Lincoln and Jefferson and Teddy Roosevelt. They'll actually learn about the origins of Mount Rushmore, which are those four presidents, of course. It's very interdisciplinary. It's not just history, it's art. So they'll see great works of art and read about them, or at least in kindergarten, listen to stories told about the origins of that artwork. Think like the Mona Lisa, these kinds of things that kindergartners will in fact see. As they get into first grade, you continue, and they hear some tall tales. Think Paul Bunyan and Casey Jones. They learn, they read interesting things about science, about plants, about the basics of the stars and astronomy. It's a very interdisciplinary approach to reading, writing, and arithmetic, and all meant to reinforce a really broad base of knowledge that kids develop over time. In second grade, they learn about the origins of democracy in ancient Athens. They'll learn about the civilization of the ancient Greeks and listen to engaging stories of the ancient Greeks while they grow their vocabulary. And then they write a lot, as you would want to see in second grade. They're writing sentences and sentence stems. As the kids advance, the topics continue to grow their knowledge of the world. They'll read The Wind in the Willows, the great classic, in third grade. They'll learn about ancient Rome. They'll read Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. They'll read the great C.S. Lewis classic, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So it's a very foundationally focused set of instructional materials to make sure that our kids understand language and then also understand our heritage as Americans.